ज्ञानाञ्जनतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. So today we are going to discuss on the Sloka of Bhagavad-Gita, that is 4.14, chapter 4, verse 14. So I will be reading the verse along with synonyms, translation and purport now, and then we'll go into the detailed discussion. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha iti mamyobhijanati karma bhirna sabadhyate. Synonyms: na, never; mam, me; karmani, all kinds of work; limpanti, do affect; na, nor; me, my; karma phale, in fruitive action; spruha, aspiration; iti, thus; mam, me; yaha, one who; abhijanati, does know; karma bihi, by the reaction of such work; na, never; saha, he; badhyate, becomes entangled. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of the action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. As there are two constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws, similarly the Supreme Lord, although He is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The property of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being full in Himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only His engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth. Although without such rains there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows: निमित्तमात्रम् एव सौ सृज्यानां सर्गकर्मणि प्रधानकाराणि भूता यतो वै सृज्य शक्तयः. In the material creations, the Lord is the only supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature, by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings and lower animals, and all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of material nature, but He is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34, it is confirmed: Vaishamya nairghranye na sapekshatvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the man who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in the fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. So now let's get into our discussion, and there are mainly two types of life which are being described here, especially in the purport, that is conditioned life and liberated life. Conditioned life is in this material world, and we are bound, we are conditioned, we have some conditions to work under. So we cannot go to moon or do whatever we desire just like that. So for going to the moon nowadays, scientists have invented those spacecrafts which you have to be a special astronaut to board them and go there and see the outer part of the moon, or else by the yogic process you have to elevate yourself to that planet. So we cannot go to moon or do whatever we desire just like that automatically. So we also cannot go to the United States of America without a passport. And even if we have a passport, also to get the visa we have to go here and there and apply for all these extra things, for which so many questions are asked, inquiries are being done with the people who want to go. And so this material world is very conditioned. It is very conditioned, and you cannot do anything that you desire by yourself. So there is no freedom here either. And Nitya Siddha living entities can Nitya Siddha living entities, they live this life. So one is the Nitya Siddha and Nitya Mukta. So the Nitya Siddha living, Nitya Mukta means they are eternally liberated, and Nitya Siddha means they become liberated by the practice of devotional service. So these Nitya Siddha and these Nitya Baddha people also, who are materially ever eternally entangled, even they are also living in this conditioned life. And liberated life is just the opposite. It is the spiritual world, and we have full freedom to serve in whatever way we want, and we are welcome even if we render the most insignificant service, and the Supreme Lord sees it and he writes it down, he takes it into account. So Narada Muni can go anywhere because he is living a liberated life. He is a liberated spiritual soul, and that is the reason why Narada Muni can go anywhere he desires. So Nitya Mukta living entities, Nitya Mukta, as I said before, Nitya Mukta means eternally liberated. They live liberated life, and this life is full of freedom, unlike the conditioned life. And also relating to this verse, there is also another verse which is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.31.1, that is Karmana Daiva Netrena Jantur Dehopapatyate, that the living entity, the karma's result is given under the direction of the Lord only. So whatever karma you have, that is just directed by the Lord, that you have to be given this, because he takes into account some reaction that you may have done 50 lifetimes ago, and he may give you the result in this lifetime today, or maybe tomorrow, or sometime later, or maybe before also he must have given in some way. So just like he did for Dhritarashtra, he killed he was a hunter 50 lifetimes ago, and he killed the 100 eggs of a bird who laid the eggs, and those eggs were almost in their hatching stage when this hunter in the form of Dhritarashtra came 50 lifetimes ago. He came there and he killed those 100 eggs, and thus he got the karma back that he had to work for 50 lifetimes to get the punya upon which he would be born as Dhritarashtra in this lifetime, and he would have 100 children, and those 100 children would be killed. So yes, Karmana Deva Nitrena, it is given under the direction of the Supreme Lord only. He committed 50 lifetimes ago, but the Supreme Lord has still not forgotten. He takes it into account and he gives the result to the particular action. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, as states the third law of motion in physics also. So thus here it is also mentioned that there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of the action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So understanding this truth that there is no work that affects the Supreme Lord, nor he aspires for nor he doesn't aspire for the fruits of the action. So the person who understands this does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work, which means that he becomes liberated. So self-realization is very, very important. Realizing the Supreme Lord and realizing ourselves is a very, very important things which we have to do to go back to Godhead and ultimately become liberated from the reactions of fruitive work. So again, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.9.29 confirms this, that labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manushya martadam anityam apiha dhiraha turnam yateta napate tanumrityu yavat nishreyasa vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. That the human form of life is very rare, and we should just utilize it to go back to Godhead as to the best extent that we can. We should try to finish the business within this lifetime, just as Prabhupada used to say that we should not prolong the business for the next lifetime. Otherwise it may happen that we may be born in one of the lower species, or we may be enter into the bondage of the cycle chain of action and reaction of karma, and we may be bound here only. So if we finish the business in this lifetime, then we may go back to Godhead. Yes, if you fail to finish the business in this lifetime only, that is self-realization, then in the next life also, from wherever you stopped, you will get a chance to continue. But getting through all that suffering is definitely not a desirable thing. So it is better if we execute the mission that we have to realize our constitutional position, Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. We have to utilize it to go back to Godhead. So Varna and Ashrama divisions are there for this, so that Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, so that the people can perform their occupational duties and please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Varna means the four castes: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Brahmana must be there so that he can guide the Kshatriya can rule, he can entertain Vaishyas and merchants in the kingdom who take care of cows, do organic farming, etc., etc. And then he can also entertain the Shudras for whom the work is labor and menial service to others. Yes. So ashrama divisions is brahmachari, grihastha, varnaprastha and sannyasa. So the highest order of life is highest ashram of the life is sannyasa, which is complete renunciation, and where one should not be attached to any thing at all. And brahmacharya is where we cultivate celibacy, and we try to these people they are mainly between the age of 1 to 25, and they are busy with their studies, reading scriptures. And grihasthas are who entered the ashram of married life. Varnaprasthas are who retired, and sannyasis are the, again as we discussed, members of renounced order of life. So if these four varna and ashrama divisions are there combined together, then the society can function excellently. And so again, what is mentioned here, Krishna and his devotees are never bound by karma. So one who understands this truth about the Supreme Lord is definitely the devotee, because he should understand that there is no work that affects the Lord, nor does the Lord aspire for the fruits of the action. So thus they are not these special devotees are the incarnations of the personal associates of the Lord, or they are meant to be personal associates of the Supreme Lord, and they are not bound by karma. And that is stated here. Everybody else from Indra to germs, they are all bound by karma. So these small germs and microorganisms are there, even they also reap the results of their fruitive activities. So yastvindra gopa mathavitra mahosva karma bandhanurupa palabhajana matanodi karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. This is a verse from Brahma Samhita that is related to it. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha. So people who engage in pure devotional service, that is people who understand this particular truth, they realized they realize their self, who they are, and etc., then they are above material entanglement. And material entanglement means what? Bondage of karma, struggling with the six senses, mind, which include the mind, struggling with problems of this material world. All these are material entanglements, and the people who engage in pure devotional service, they are above all these things, because the Supreme Lord is arranging for even the germs and the microorganisms who are living in the dustbins or the trash cans. So why will he not arrange for his devotees? And however, there are some atheists who deride God, especially not some, there are especially many atheists in Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga all are Shudras and atheists. Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha, even Chandalas and Mlechas are also there in the age of Kali Yuga. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18. This Kirata Hunandra Pulindra Pulkasha Abira Shumbha Yavana Khasadaya Yenyecha Papa Yatapashraya Shrayaha Shuddyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha. So in the word meanings, that is the synonyms word to word, Prabhupada gives the countries also from which these particular groups of Chandalas and Mlechas they belong to. So these Chandalas are the dog eaters, and they are considered, and Mlechas are also outcasts, along with they are also considered outcasts. And in Kali Yuga, people are filled, all the people are just Shudras, and nobody is a Brahmana. Even if there is a Brahmana, he is Brahmana only by birth, and people want to be Brahmana without qualification nowadays. And hence the respect, hence we can say that the importance of Indian culture is is like going down now. The value for Indian culture is going down, and what is supposed to be done according to Sanatana Dharma, now people are not following that. And India is the country which is the remains of Vedic civilization. So, Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Para Upakar. Bharata Bhumi Haile Manushya Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Para Upakar. So, I think this is somewhere around the verse. This verse is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilina 9.41, that the people who are born in Bharata Bhumi, that is India, this is the remains of Vedic civilization, and we are supposed to propagate this science to the remaining world. And if India is rich in spiritual culture, and the entire other world is rich in material advancement. So if these two combine together, then the entire world can move nicely. But nowadays people don't want Krishna consciousness. That is the essence of Vedic culture in India. This is the essence of the tree of Vedic culture. This mango fruit called Srimad Bhagavatam, it propagates the science of Krishna consciousness, but people don't want it. They want temporary happiness, and hence they are suffering, even though they have a lot of material advancement. People who are in the developed countries, they are more worried than people who are in the third world countries. So yeah, and this is the reason why Krishna and Rama appeared in India. All the main incarnations of the Lord appeared, all the incarnations practically, they appeared in India only, almost all. So this land is very potent. This Indian land is very potent. This soil is extremely purified by the appearance of almost all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord. So thus this country is meant for propagating Krishna consciousness to the rest of the world. But the problem is that nowadays India is trying to imitate the West, upon which they are losing their own culture. And India was actually meant to propagate it to the West, but since India has not done it, Srila Prabhupada has done it. So we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada also for that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now Rama and Krishna, they appeared in India. So but these dhams, these potent places, they are being inhabited by rascals and fools who don't know the theory of who don't know the importance of the Lord's appearance, the storyline behind it, who don't know the lessons that they can earn, and they are just imposters who change the philosophy for making money, or they present the right philosophy in the wrong way. So without understanding, without taking help of a disciplic succession, etc. Not without taking help, without approaching a spiritual master from an authorized disciplic succession. And also we can refer to Bhagavad-Gita 7.14, which Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratteya, that Maya is under the Lord's control, and the people who are in illusion, they are controlled by Maya only. Maya means illusion. Illusion means what is not. And many people have not realized this truth because they are in the world of illusion only till now. And Bhagavad Gita 9.10 also confirms this. That material nature is working under Lord's direction. Bhagavad Gita 4.7 to 8 also confirms these things, that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamiham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That the Lord comes in every yuga, and we should take advantage of the Lord's instructions. So we should not take the Krishna consciousness movement lightly, but we should take it extremely seriously, because this movement of Krishna consciousness has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, and we have to propagate it for the welfare of the entire world in general, and also for the welfare of the people who have fallen in this conditional material life. So lastly, we are Indians, and the land of India is the remains of Vedic civilization, and we have to propagate this science because India is the land where the spiritual the lordships Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, almost all the avatars appeared, and hence it is our duty to propagate this philosophy to the entire world. So Prabhupada has already propagated everything in the entire world. Now it is our duty to do the little that we can to assist him in this mission. So we must all do the little that we can in this. We must at least try to endeavor to help Srila Prabhupada. That will be most pleasing to Prabhupada and our Gurus and the Supreme Lord, because it is said that one cannot repay the debt of the spiritual master even in millions and millions of births. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams.